No issue dominates the political debate around the country more than tax fairness. We hear it over and over. The rich don't pay their fair share of taxes. Billionaire Warren Buffett claims that the tax code coddles the rich and that he should pay more. Wealthy Democrats are running newspaper ads to announce that they too pay too little in taxes. Well, what's missing from this debate are the basic facts about taxes. Who really pays and how much? The truth is, the rich pay much more in taxes than ever before. The wealthiest 3%, those earning more than $250,000 in income, pay a larger share of the tax burden than at any time since 1960. Our government banks on them for more than 50% of its income tax revenue, which means they pay more than the other 97% combined. It's kind of hard to call this coddling. And what do we have to show for this tax policy? Are the poor better off when we spread the wealth around? In 1962, John F. Kennedy observed, "It is a paradoxical truth that tax rates are too high today and tax revenues are too low, and the soundest way to raise the revenues in the long run is to cut the tax rates." Kennedy was right. History proves that high tax rates are the worst way to redistribute income to the poor and the middle class. This is explained by the famous Laffer curve, which shows that high tax rates discourage economic growth to the point that government actually generates less tax revenue. And yet, President Obama hopes to dramatically increase tax rates on the wealthiest Americans. In selling his Warren Buffett millionaire tax hikes, Obama says, "We tried tax cuts and it did not work." It didn't? In the late 1970s, the highest income tax rate was 70%. Ronald Reagan slashed that to 50% and then again down to 28% in 1986. One might expect tax revenues to tank after such large tax cuts. That didn't happen. Even though the tax rate fell by more than half, the total tax revenue in the 1980s doubled from $517 billion in 1981 to $1,030 billion in 1990. That's because the economy grew so dramatically under lower tax rates. This is the fundamental problem with President Obama's tax agenda. It was the growth, not redistribution, that created the rapid rise in prosperity shared by all Americans in the decades since the 1970s. Many of us remember the 70s, and we don't particularly want to go back. But unless current tax laws are changed by January 1st, 2013, we may well be headed there. On that day, a ticking time bomb will explode when both the Bush tax cuts and the alternative minimum tax fix expire. The resulting tax increases, the largest since World War II, will slam 28 million Americans with thousands of dollars in tax increases, even those earning less than $100,000. So ask yourself, are there really 28 million rich people in America? There's never been a clearer example of redistributionist policy that claims to soak only rich, but will in fact drench most American families in taxes. This is no way to get the economy back on track. America needs a tax policy that is engineered for growth, not for fairness. In the end, the only way to truly help the poor is to create a rising tide of prosperity that lifts all boats. It was JFK who said that.